Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, everybody, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, wait, yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. How did you did you figure out how to do the background thing yet?
No, there's no background thing, sadly. I know.
Oh, I am definitely.
I was trying to mess around with it to see if there was. So I had to basically just clean my whole living room. And and I'm kicking my wife and child out.
George, am I gonna have to make my bed?
I think so. Well, listen, it's not the worst background I've seen. I've seen some pretty challenging backgrounds in a few of these sessions. So
I mean, it's a laptop, so I can move into the other room, but I was hoping to have my double monitors, you know?
Oh, there's George.
Hey, George.
How are you?
Hey.
Good.
Trying to figure this thing out here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't have a lot of experience with these hacking events and this virtual hacking stuff.
Yeah, neither do I. This is my first time using Hopin. I think Margaret's used it a few times more than I did, so she told me that everything was going to be okay.
All right.
And so far, so good.
She gave me confidence too because this is my first time using it. I have heard of it, but never used it. I'm a Zoom user.
All right, I see. So I see that in this session here, it says it's being already recorded. Does that mean that folks are going to be able to see what we're talking about now, or do we know?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm sure they're going to probably trim it up and stuff, but they told us to log in anytime before to check our audio and check our video and all that stuff. And I'm going to check my video here in a little bit. It was giving me some trouble.
I'm going to disappear for like 30 seconds. Let's continue the conversation, but I'm going to go make my bed.
Well,
all right, good idea.
George, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you. I wish there was a virtual background here so badly.
I actually don't mind this. I think it makes it more intimate, and people they like the vulnerability. It will showcase a lot, especially because we're the government entity. Wow!
This is right. This is the cleanest my house has ever been.
That's great.
No, it was funny. I was like a long time ago, I was tweeting, or a couple months ago, I was tweeting that the FDOT uses GoToMeeting. So I was sad that that GoToMeeting didn't have a virtual background. And then and I was complaining about it online, and then the GoToMeeting account replied to me and said that I had to download 3 separate applications in order to make the virtual background happen. So I was like, well, maybe we put that on the pipeline to just integrate.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's good. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good event. I went to a few of the other sessions that I saw were really interesting. Seems that there's some really good ones. I did the City Coins one was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a Node.js workshop that I liked a lot.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it was good. It's nice. They had some really nice workshops. I was, and they had a lot of them. I was pleasantly surprised.
Very cool.
But
I was tied up this morning. I wasn't able to join. I see here that also one thing, because I did look at the other videos, and it's like 3 of 9. Does that mean only 9 people can join this session?
I think that's 3 of 9 moderators.
Oh, I see.
The little eyeball is the number of people viewing it, which I guess the 4th person is the recorder.
Sure.
But yeah, I think from what I saw, the sessions were getting anywhere between like 25 to 50 folks, so it's nice because it's a smaller group.
Sure.
And then Krishana is going to read us some questions, and then we can kind of do. So the way I think I'm going to do it is I'll play I have the mayor's intro, so I'll just share the screen and play it.
All right.
And then you can do a brief intro, I'll do a brief intro, and then Krishana can jump in with some questions, and then we can encourage the folks in the chat to drop some questions in chat or drop some questions in Q&A. And we'll go for as long as for either within the hour or as long as folks have questions. I think Anna just wanted us to kind of be present and answer some questions and connect with some students and keep it informal. So
yeah, of course, that's great. No worries.
Yeah.
So how would you I know that you guys both have the same name, so I was thinking of doing when I read the question. So this is my thoughts, just hear me out. I was thinking Junior and Senior George. I was going for George V and George M.
I like George V and George M. I think would be. Yeah. I think that works. They're getting 2 Georges for the price of 1.
I don't think you want to refer to George Valens as senior. So I mean, I'm actually probably older than him, so I know you were probably confused with that.
No. You senior. You
senior. George, she got you.
I was trying to help you there, but you just dug your hole even deeper. I get it. I understand.
Oh, I feel so excited because I am such a super nerd. I love like tech stuff, like the little everything that comes out of these just brings me I feel like I'm glowing right now because it just makes me so happy. And I'm most excited because there are some women sessions, women minority sessions in this ShellHacks. And to be honest, I don't know, George, were you in the big chat yesterday when everybody was kind of doing the connections?
Yeah, I was a little bit. I did the did you do the networking, the sort of chat relay networking thing?
I did the 3-minute round one yesterday.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then I did the open chat one, and then after that I received at least 100 LinkedIn connections from it. Just in general. So I think that we should be prepared to drop our LinkedIns in this chat portal for the students who want to reach out if they have additional questions, that they could reach out to us if they're seeking any mentorship. I think that would be helpful as well.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, I need to pull up these questions.
Yeah, I highlighted the ones that Margaret wanted to make sure that we would ask.
Absolutely.
So who's going to be monitoring the chat? Because I don't know if I can pay attention to the chat, watch the video, and also answer questions at the same time.
I'm going to do the both.
Yeah.
So, like if I see, so-and-so asked this, I'll be like, hey, I want to pose another question from the chat portal. Sarah said or asked, or Stuart said or asked.
Also, I wanted to know, I assume that only us three are going to be on or is it only me and George that are going to be on this video portion, or all three?
We can do all three of us. I think we could do all three of us, Krishana, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, but nobody asking questions would be on video.
Yeah, right? We have to let them on physically, so I think we're just going to limit it. Yeah, we're just going to limit it onto just chat and Q&A, to the Q&A portion here. That way, everything just goes through there.
Oh, because you're saying you'd have to give them, I guess.
Yeah, you have to admit them.
Yeah, that's going to get kind of.
That gets a little messy. So I think we just keep, ask them, hey, if you have any questions while we're having this discussion,
so what if
submit them online.
What if only one person shows up?
Then it's going to be a great session for them.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
we could be like, you really want to apply for some of the jobs?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna get some extremely high level mentorship.
Very true.
So while I have you all on, let me share my screen, and then I can test the audio of the mayor's address. So, oh boy,
that doesn't look like
screen inception.
Yeah.
Move this over.
That's exactly what it is. Good.
All right. ShellHacks intro.
One of my priorities as mayor is to.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome.
It's so funny how the algorithm, since I've accepted this job, algorithms on LinkedIn and Instagram are beyond crazy. Like everything is Miami-Dade, Miami Tech, ... It just, I was like, yesterday was all Atlanta. Now today the algorithm is completely flipped. I'm just like, oh, it's so crazy.
Have you gotten any vendor solicitations yet? Like, oh, hi, Krishana, are you interested in changing your entire organization's enterprise stack to Google Apps?
I was like, well, thank you.
I was like, great. I'm sure I can definitely unilaterally make this decision without talking to anybody else. This is a great email. Thank you.
Krishana, what is your role? I know that you're reporting to Anna. Is that who you're reporting to?
Oh yeah, so that's my direct supervisor. So we're part of So Anna, me, and George are like our team, but our team is directly under Margaret.
Yes.
So we're like Margaret's specialized team for like special projects.
I'm familiar with the team. I just wasn't sure who you're reporting to. Anna.
Yes, I am.
I see. All right, that's good. And what is your title? These are new titles you guys have. What is your title?
Oh, it's a ridiculously long one. Information Technology Community Engagement Manager.
Wow, that's pretty. I'm telling you, we never had that before, so that's great.
I have so much love for this role. Me and George are gonna kick butt.
Good. I can hear that.
It's gonna be a little awkward, George, for you and I as FIU alums to be giving this presentation while the FIU football team is getting destroyed. Right now.
It's terrible.
I'm on an alumni thread, and it started with, "Hey, this game started out great," and now all I see is, "Oh no, oh I hate everything. No, I'm turning the TV off."
Oh man. So I was trying, I was looking around through the different sessions, but I guess there wasn't really a direct way to get back into here unless you provided that URL. So I'm not still trying to figure out how to, is it because they don't publish this session until the time comes? Is that why?
Yeah, so if you go onto I have it open in 2 tabs. If you go into a tab that's outside of this one and you click on reception and you scroll all the way down, you'll see the list of all the sessions. And then he told me that the session goes live for people to join in 5 minutes before it starts. It's supposed to start. So
we're able to get in because our user IDs are obviously already been given access to get in early and as moderators.
Yeah, that's why when he was looking for your name, he couldn't find it because he was adding us in as moderators for the workshop.
Yeah. I had created my ID day one, so I don't know what happened there, but
yeah, no, it's fine. We got you in there now, so that's all that matters. But yeah, I like this platform a lot. It's really cool. I hadn't used it a whole lot, but it's nice. That networking thing is kind of cool. Yeah. I think there was a conference last year that used it, and it was really nice because it takes that element that everybody likes of in between sessions. You go out into the main hall and you chit chat with people, and it kind of tried to replicate that a little bit. So I like that a lot.
Did this cost folks to join this conference? Did it cost people anything?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming because we have a sponsorship link for us. I think it did.
I mean, I know that we donated money, but I wasn't sure if like students and other people.
I'm not sure.
Had to,
It feels like it's free because they have, if the goal is attendance and their students,
Yeah. Awesome. Now the weather is turning pretty bad now, so.
Yeah, I'm a little worried too with my I live in an apartment, and when it rains my power goes out.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm fortunately ever since I gone to AT&T Fiber, it's rock solid, and I installed the UPS system here though, so even when the power goes off, I'm usually good. But
yeah, I switched to fiber too.
Yeah,
the AT&T Fiber is really good around here.
Yeah. So
I do have to get a UPS though. A UPS is on my to-do list because I wanted to get one for the TV. Because if the power goes out and my 4-year-old doesn't have Paw Patrol, like it's over. We're done.
Life is over.
I need at least 15 minutes to transition her to something else if the power doesn't come back.
Oh man.
So let's hope we don't get disrupted with weather.
Yeah, the afternoon showers have been like all but certain all those days.
I will say I'm not missing any rain, but it is actually cold in Atlanta right now.
Oh, you came from Atlanta?
Yes. So I worked at the city of Atlanta, and then I'm still moving from Atlanta down. I'm completing my move this weekend. So 1, I hate moving, but 2, the weather, it flipped in one day. I went from being in 90-degree weather to literally it's 52 right now.
And you came to Miami-Dade County for the job only, or were you planning on moving down here?
So I'm actually originally from Miami. So I started at UM and then I transferred to UCF. So I actually finished school at UCF in social engineering, so sociology stuff. And I kind of made a full circle. Ideally, I wanted to stay in the university system in Florida, but because of the projects I worked on during grad school at UCF, it pivoted me to the city of Atlanta, and I got a really good job in the mayor's office there. So now I'm coming back and working with the mayor again. So it's interesting how life is a full circle, and I feel like this is a position where I belong at this point in my life. So
that's great.
It feels good to be home too.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Okay. Welcome back.
Thank you. I definitely will say it was really refreshing to live in 4 seasons, but I 100% know I am a tropical girl, and I need warm weather. It has a lot to do with my overall happiness now. So I'm like, Florida it is.
Yeah, that's great. I agree. I like the warm weather too. Makes me feel good.
Yeah. How long have you been with the city?
With the
I always gotta remember that. And Margaret told me the county.
I've been with them for 24 years, almost 25 years now.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So there's a lot of people who have, at least everybody that I've met has. Yeah, actually, besides George and I, everybody that I've met has been with this county a long time.
Yeah, we have a lot of folks that are, when people come to the county, they stay in the county. So we have lots and lots of folks like that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is my house just lost power. It came back, so I'm still on because of my UPS. So
yeah, no, I'm on Amazon right now looking for them. I'm putting them in the wish list.
Yeah, so I have 20. In January I'll have 25 years, and so I still have a while to go. I'm still fairly, I know I was referred to as a senior, but I still have several years to go before I retire. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that county jobs they're not even just sustainable, but a lot of people with county experience have so much joy over their job.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a huge, like, the perspective is completely different. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to gaining experience in, because it is very different from working for a city. There's similarities, of course. But I feel like sometimes cities are more compliant oriented, while counties are really drivers of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And the perspective is very different. So sure. I'm looking forward to that experience.
And it's really, above all else, like the government sector jobs, like especially like employers like Miami-Dade County, it's a pathway to the middle class. It's an immediate pathway into the middle class. Like my father-in-law worked as a janitor for Miami-Dade County Public Schools for 25 years when he came from Cuba. And he raised a family of 2 girls on that salary. They lived a good life in Hialeah because of that. So
yeah,
that's always been a big component of your county, those county level jobs. It's a great entry point, and it's a great way to just be able to live in the city.
Yep.
I definitely second that. I agree with that fully. I definitely do all my job choices. I'm like, let me see your benefits plan. Let me see your health package. Does this come with a stipend, a pension? Let me see. I didn't realize how important they were until kind of I was getting into the workforce, and I kind of gotten the golden ticket early on because I worked at a university. As I started from the bottom as a student and worked my way up to coordinator and a manager. And I didn't have to pay for school. Like that took I was like, I don't have to what? I'm going to be a full-time employee before I even graduate and I get all these benefits? Sign me up. What other jobs are like this?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, benefits are very important.
Yeah, and it's been interesting. I read a study yesterday, a white paper yesterday about how government jobs really kept a lot of security around during the pandemic for people. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who work in government, like keeping other families afloat because we had these jobs, because a lot of people lost their jobs during this time because of the type of industries they were.
It's very true.
Yeah, so it was interesting. My kitten is trying to say hi to you guys now, apparently.
I kicked my kitten out. I said, goodbye, kitten. Go to Target. I told my wife, I said, take our kitten to Target so that she doesn't scream.
That's so funny. I just came back from Target and I bought one of those big behind body pillows, and I put one of the furry pillowcases on it. So that's why she keeps coming in here and sitting on it. And she literally
understandable
on it all day. And I'm like, I didn't buy this for you, girl. Her name is Dolly Purton.
Nice.
Like
appropriate cat name.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really tiny. She's a little baby one.
Yeah, I'm sure my kid's gonna come back with like 9 new toys. Always happens.
It's like
Target.
When you want to get rid of them, it's like the only time you go to Target. Otherwise, you're like, don't go to Target, right? So
Exactly.
Did Zoe have a squishy fever yet? Like the squishy fever?
No, she likes she's a big Spider-Man. Like she saw the Spider-Man show. So
Okay.
if there's a Spider-Man thing, she'll go for it. That's her thing. Like that, Paw Patrol and Spider-Man are her thing right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
She'll grab a Barbie if she sees a Barbie that she likes. She'll let me know. But she like has a very diverse. What I like about her is that you never know what she's gonna pick at Target. Like,
Did you introduce her to the Spider-Man, the cartoon version with Miles?
Yeah, that's what she likes. The
Okay.
Spider-Man or the cartoon Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh, me, she loves the song by Post Malone's Sunflower, probably.
Oh no, we didn't watch that one. That one I think is a little too intense for her. There's a show on Disney Junior. There's a Spider-Man show on Disney.
Oh,
Junior.
there is? I gotta look that out. I gotta look that
It's like
up.
all three. It's like all the three, but they're like Spider-Man, but they're like kids. So that one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse is a little too intense for her. I think maybe when she's like 7 or 8, we'll start working our way through the MCU. But
yeah. Oh my gosh. If they do Baby Yoda, I just need a Baby Yoda series. That's all I need. Come on, Star Wars. Like, if you could bless me with one thing. I cannot wait to go back to Disney. Like, I'm super excited.
We were going to take our daughter to Disney the year the pandemic hit. Like, we're actually going to take her in April, and then March all the lockdowns happened. So I think we're on for next year for her birthday to take her to Disney because she hasn't been to Disney yet.
Well, I gotta tell you, like, if you need some secrets on how to bypass things, I got a list of things for you.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, everybody. I have a friend who's very serious about. Okay, you have to do your fast pass here first, and then you're gonna do this, and it's very tactical. I don't know. It's just Disney. I don't like to think a lot when I'm at Disney. Like it's just I'm too busy just keeping things in order.
Yeah.
But now I heard that they took fast passes away. So now
really?
they don't. Yeah, they don't do fast. So now they do like it's a new system completely. But I don't know how it works. But they changed it because of the pandemic because they didn't want a lot of people bunching together at one time.
Yeah.
So Disney, they're gonna figure out a Disney way to get people onto those rides without them bunching in.
Yeah, the new experience is. I think it's very user-friendly. I think it's a lot faster. If anything, it complements your experience more there because you're not hustled to stand in a line and kind of just teeter back and forth, We were able to, like, maneuver around quite a bit. But the Star Wars, like, just getting there and experiencing it is really – you could just walk around and it's great. It's kind of like when Harry Potter opened. But you really have to be strategic. I zigzag when I go to a park. I know not to go from the front to the back or the back to the front tactic. No, I zigzag. I'm like all over. I'm like do pinging. That way I can have like the best experience ever. And I also want to go to when they have the wine festival at Animal Kingdom. I've been wanting to do that too. That's something
I heard that's really nice.
You know what? We're gonna be like, Anna, we know where we want to take our field trip. I'm actually excited when we get to go to the zoo. I cannot wait to feed the baby giraffes because that's my spirit animal.
Oh,
George Sr., do you have a spirit animal?
Yes, eagle.
An eagle, okay. What about you, George Jr.?
I have I think mine is the sloth. I like to just be slow, right?
Oh my God, that means easy. What was the movie with the sloth was in it?
Zootopia.
That scene was the funniest thing. It reminded me, just be patient with your DMV people. I'm so excited. So our session is 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, it should be about 45. we have the room for the hour, but I budgeted 45 to 50 just in case there were a lot of questions. But I imagine we can go, if we run out of questions to ask and there aren't any more questions, then I think we're done. So it's just to kind of just be here and to give them, to give the students sort of an access point to us and to have a discussion about, our favorite projects and what we're working on and how you work for the county and what it's like to work for the county, and making sure that we hammer home the idea of like having the importance of having a diverse workforce and all that good stuff. Like, I think it's gonna be a good discussion.
Did you create like I was gonna do a welcome message in the chat.
Yeah, sure. You can do that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's cool. And I think, by the way, our icons have the LinkedIn links in them. Like I think if you click on my name, you can see my LinkedIn and my Twitter.
Yeah, mine does. Yes.
Yeah, and I'll just drop in like my email or whatever.
If I click on your name, where? I don't see anything.
If you go to people on the left side, yeah, and then you can do that.
Oh yeah, your LinkedIn is there. Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So, and I'll probably just drop it. I always try to drop in my email at the end in case anybody like wants to reach me after.
Mm-hmm.
And I can drop in my email, and if you guys want, you can just let my email be sort of the main point of contact.
Sure.
And then we can kind of move it around if anything. Oh, good. It stopped raining.
It's pouring here.
Yeah. I hope that hurricane goes out into the ocean. That big hurricane has got me a little nervous. But it looks like it's veering northward.
Mm-hmm. Hope it keeps going in that direction.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we expecting hurricanes?
We expect hurricanes every year.
Yes. Yeah. And they tell you that hurricane season starts June 21st, but really it's hurricane season year round. I think one of the hurricanes not too long ago hit like early November.
I mean, the formal season used to be June 1st through November 30th, and then now they actually brought it down into the May timeframe, second week of May. But there's been hurricanes and tropical storms way past May, November 30th, and before May as well too. So
yeah.
Usually just not conducive for that type of environment, but
yeah. I actually missed hurricane season. I remember all the hurricane festivals we used to have in school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like because I grew up in Surfside. I remember how flooded the streets would be. I would take my board out and just ride on the street and be like, "Hey neighbor," go pick up snacks, and then the water drained. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Now us, being older and more responsible, I worry about my house getting flattened. So.
Yeah, or the flooding, or the sudden flooding that happens out of nowhere.
Sure.
Oh, there was a pretty light rain the other day. I had to drive to my mom's house, and I hadn't been to my mom's house in a while, because she normally comes to visit us. And the streets, she lives in that unincorporated area north of Miami Lakes, and the streets were just like I was worried that my engine was going to flood on a few of them because the streets were that flooded.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting really bad. Let's see, what time is it? 3:53. So 2 more minutes, and then people will start coming in.
I just started watching The Foundation. Have you guys started watching that?
The what?
No.
The Foundation. Well, I'm just going to say put that on your list right now. If you're not doing anything tonight, you don't have nothing to watch, go watch The Foundation.
Where is it streaming?
It's streaming on Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix?
Yeah, it just came out, but it's...
I'll check it out.
TV series.
Is it a movie or is it a TV?
It's got a really high rating.
Yeah.
7.9.
It brings joy to my soul. It's all about math and humanity and civilization. It is, I mean, I've already rewatched it. That's how good it is.
So it's season 1 right now? Is it season 1? Is that what it is?
Yes, season 1. It just came out, and it took over 4 years to make.
Oh, nice, with Jared Harris. Sweet. Oh, it's on Apple TV Plus.
Yep, Apple TV Plus.
Oh,
Okay,
it's the only place it's on? I have an Apple TV. I can,
Yeah.
I think it is.
I got a year free now because my new iPhone. I opened my own new iPhone. They give me a year.
Yeah, that's why I have it as well. I'll take advantage.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll have to check this out. I'll add it to the list of other things. Man, Apple TV is like starting to command my attention because like I first it was Ted Lasso. And For All Mankind. If you haven't seen For All Mankind, it's maybe one of my favorite shows ever. It's about the space race between the Russians and the Americans. But in that show, the Russians land on the moon first.
Oh wow! Yep.
So it changes the trajectory of the space program completely. Very cool show. Very cool. And then they have and now Foundation. Nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, and C's on there. I like C too.
C, I heard, is really good.
C is really, really good. But that is a show that you have to really visually watch. Even though
you have to see it.
You literally have to see it.
Yeah. I saw season 1. I like that show. It was good. I know that they have now season 2 and some more episodes, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it looks like we got like 10. I see 10 viewers now. There we go. Look, people are coming in. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We're just gonna give it a few more minutes. We'll start at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, you can enjoy our chit chat about TV shows that we should be watching.
Yeah, and if you have any recommendations, please drop them in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's some TV shows that we should be watching, please put them in chat. F1 Drive to Survive. Yes. What? That is on my list of things to watch. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm a need for.
That's a good. Yes. I was watching the Michael Schumacher documentary. It was really good.
Yeah, actually, that's on my watch list. Oh, this looks like my show. Okay. In the title, the word cutthroat. Just what I need to hear.
So, George.
Hi, Nicholas.
Krishna gave you a new. I'm going to use this one for you.
Hey, Mohammed. Yes.
She gave you a new nickname, Jorvalens. I like that.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, I sound like Superman's dad.
Oh,
I like it. It does. It has a very Superman's dad vibe to it.
We're gonna go with Jorvalens from now on.
Jorvalens.
Oh my gosh.
Jorvalens of Krypton. I like it.
I like that better than junior and senior. We'll go with Jorvalens.
Yeah, right. I like it a lot better than junior and senior. It's good.
Aw, George just wants to be a junior.
Well, it's nice. I'll tell you, because like in my wife's family, we're the youngest in her entire family. So like they get mad at me when I complain about how when I turned 35, my back started to hurt and I didn't know why. So it's nice. It's nice that I can squeak by with a junior every now and then.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it with a 4-year-old.
I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if that's a good idea, creating the hierarchy." Hey, Natalie. Hey, Daniel. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. This is gonna be exciting and a nice little chat. So we're gonna wait for a few people, get started right at 4, maybe 4:01, and then we'll get it going. Just a heads up, we're gonna keep it nice and informal. Just a chat about Miami-Dade County and what we're working on. So we're excited to share with you. This is our first big event as a GovTech program, our first big engagement. So definitely excited to connect with all of you and get it going. And again, if you have any TV show recommendations for us to be watching, please drop them in chat. We're gonna run this like a Twitch chat. So any TV recommendations, any TV show recommendations up until we start, just drop them in there.
Just have a lightning round.
Yeah, I'm browsing to see if there are any other workshops I want to check out.
George, I'm so disappointed. When I get back to the thing, I found out that Hamilton is playing here.
Oh, at the Art Center?
At the Fox Theater here. And
Oh,
I
the
was
Fox
like,
Theater. Okay. Tickets for that are always very hard to come by. I tried to get tickets for when they were at the Broward Center, and it was really very hard to get.
yeah, apparently this has been sold out for months. And I was like, oh.
Oh, there's a ShellHacks escape room at 11 o'clock. That sounds really cool.
Oh,
I'm not. It says, "Are you clever and a problem solver?" I am a problem solver. I don't feel like I'm clever enough to get out of an escape room.
What time?
I tried to do an escape room once, and I was in there for 3 hours because they wouldn't let me out.
Wait, really?
I was like, "Okay, I'm done. I give up. Please, just let me. Can I go now?"
What was the theme?
It was like a pirate themed one. I had to like find the treasure box, and obviously the key to leave was in the treasure box. So, all right, it's 4 o'clock. Let's get this started. Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome to our sort of informal fireside chat with Miami-Dade County IT staff. Before we get started, I'm going to share my screen because we have a very special message from the mayor that she recorded for us. So let me play that first, and then we will jump right in. I moved my screen so that we can avoid screen inception. So,
no audio this time.
Oh, no audio?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it again.
It says the screen is muted.
All right, let's try. I think I have to share it with audio. Let me see. There we go. Share system audio. Awesome. All right, let's try this again.
One of my priorities as mayor is to create a culture at Miami-Dade County that embraces technology and innovation. It is critical that we stay ahead of industry trends and embrace the change they bring. Our CIO, IT department, and GovTech Innovation Program team are hard at work transforming the government experience, how we do business, and finding new ways to engage our residents. An important part of creating an innovative culture within our county government is participating in and contributing to our growing tech community. That is why we are here with you today. Building a community around government services and public data is as important as the code we write and the policy we implement. We're committed to supporting the academic institutions that are cultivating the talent and workforce in Miami-Dade to better innovate and reach heights unseen in our community. That is you right here, right now. This UP ShellHacks event is a great co-op learning experience to connect and code. It's also a chance for students to network with the county's fast-growing community of local employers that are ready to offer competitive job opportunities in Miami-Dade County. Use this time to meet the terrific county and industry leaders that can serve as your mentors and guide you along your career path. I am so grateful that we can collaborate with you here today and introduce you to our county IT leaders who are FIU alumni themselves. Thank you, and take it away, Jorge.
Awesome. Let me stop sharing my screen. Which Jorge do you think she was talking about is the question, because there's two of them today. So
I think it's just talking about George Valans.
Yeah.
That's you.
All right, so let's kick this off with some introductions. George Medeiros, why don't you go first? Get us started.
I appreciate that. So my name is George. Hello, everybody. By the way, I'm happy to be here with all of you. My name is George Medeiros. I'm the assistant director within the Information Technology Department over the Enterprise Application Services branch.
Awesome. My name is George Valens. I am one of the IT community engagement managers for the GovTech Innovation Program for the Miami-Dade County IT Department. And I am also a 2-time FIU graduate to that class of 2012 and then class of 2020. So I think, George, you're at FIU alum as well, right?
I am. I graduated my undergrad in 96 and my graduate in 2005.
Awesome. So pause up. Krishana, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Absolutely. My name is Krishana Marie Newton, and I am recently joined Miami-Dade County, and I am another information technology community engagement manager. Yes, that is a mouthful, and I'm here to moderate some questions to get you guys started. So thank you guys for sharing your background. So let me just pose one question to start. Could you guys both give us some perspectives and backgrounds on how you ended up in Miami-Dade, specifically GovTech?
Sure.
Why don't you take it away, Georgia?
Perfect. So a little bit about myself, born and raised in Miami-Dade County. I'm 51 years old. I've been here all my life. Again, I was born, raised here, studied here. I'm currently married 30 years. I have 3 children. Attended high school here, attended college. Went first to Miami-Dade College, but transferred quickly after to FIU. Graduated in '96 from FIU with an undergraduate degree. Although my undergrad is very interesting. I actually, I've always been a science nerd, so I gravitated in the 80s towards environmental studies. So I have an undergraduate degree in environmental sciences with a focus in hydrogeology. Started working for Miami-Dade County after I graduated with my undergrad degree in the Department of Resource Management as a hydrogeologist. But because I've been actually playing around with computers since about 12 years old and always had a love for problem solving and just working with technology, my role in the early parts of my career with Miami-Dade County, it kind of took an interesting turn. So rather than being out in the field with my peers, actually studying groundwater, out working with that hand, in hand, I stayed back in the office, and I really started to develop applications for Miami-Dade County that really started to analyze our groundwater data and make it a lot easier for that data to be turned into actionable information. So I spent a couple years doing that, and then in the mid '90s, saw an opportunity where computer networking really took a rise in the industry. And again, just being interested in the sciences and just computing in general, decided to go back and get retrained and started to study a lot about computer networking. Shortly thereafter, in about 2001, I ended up in the information technology department in Miami-Dade County, still a county employee, and started working as a systems administrator. Did that for several years and started to make some lateral moves within the organization. Did a lot of work in computer networking, working in the data center, working as a systems administrator. And then over the years, just promoted, was able to get promoted and was given other opportunities in the organization. Moved up to become a manager, worked over different areas within management. I had a group of security technologists that I managed for several years. And from there, I became a division director and went back to infrastructure services. Worked there a few years, working with our all of the different data centers and computer rooms that we manage throughout Miami-Dade County. And then just recently, I became promoted and I'm currently working as an assistant director in the enterprise applications area. So I moved from infrastructure over to applications. So I've been able to really have a lot of time and have gathered lots of experience in Miami-Dade County, working with all aspects of technology, from infrastructure to security to now applications. So, again, 25 years in Miami-Dade County is a total. Super happy to be here. It's a great place to work. So thank you.
Wow, thanks for that perspective. With that being said, how does the county's IT department fit into the larger role and into the Mayor Caba's priorities that we currently have?
Sure. So if you want, I'll take that on as well too, or yeah.
Yeah, I'm posing that to you. You're the one with 51 years on the planet.
So, let's think about technology first. What is technology really used for? And it's really a tool for business. And, that tool provides, or that technology provides, that ability for greater efficiencies, for conducting business. And it means, for us in Miami-Dade County, it means really servicing the needs of the citizen. That's really what we're here for. We're all here inevitably to serve the citizen. Although, our county department really serves our internal customers as well. And Miami-Dade County has over 25 different departments, right? So we have a variety of different types of customers and interesting businesses that we support. But ultimately, we're here all to support the citizen. And, when you take a look at some of the mayor's priorities, as she had mentioned in the video, we want to make government more transparent. That's one of the priorities. And we do have an open data portal where we publish a lot of of the information that we collect. Really, the data that we collect, and we make that data available to our constituents, different businesses, and we make that data available in just typical tables that you would expect, like a spreadsheet. We provide images. We also provide data points that can be plotted on a map. And if you visit our open data portal and it's on the ArcGIS platform online, you can get access to all this information at no cost. It's available to everybody. So making our government transparent is very important. Aside from that, it's also one of the other priorities of the mayor is to make government more easily accessible, in a digital format. So being able to get our citizens, access to our government services easier and quicker and more efficient is definitely something that we're here to do. And what think about what just happened with the pandemic, where a lot of services, that you normally maybe have access in a physical manner weren't really available to most folks because maybe they were locked down, or they just weren't able to get out and to be in a physical format. So we saw that with our employees as well, working, some of our employees working from home in a remote fashion, citizens being able to access these services in a digital format, whether it be through registering for COVID tests, or maybe being able to get information and early on being able to register for vaccines, right? And all this is done in an equitable fashion. So we're really here to support those initiatives.
Yeah, great response. It's reassuring to hear that the public service is moving with government tech and trusting technology and rebuilding that trust. I think it's very important. So with that being said, George V., what role or events like ShellHacks and organizations like UPE play in the county's technology solutions and in the tech community as a whole?
Yeah, definitely. So just to give you guys a little perspective about me, I'm sort of the policy geek side of tech. I started in the newsroom as a journalist. So my first foray into tech was in newsroom technology development. We did a lot of the transition to digital for newsrooms, and then I was sort of stuck in the middle because I was a reporter that knew how to use YouTube and Twitter, and I knew how to write some code, and I knew how to work the front end. So I did a little bit of everything. And then I transitioned into government, and my background has mainly been in transportation and transit systems management. So a lot of the innovation there was really interesting to me because it was a lot of figuring out how to move people from one point to the other using technology, especially in Miami, given that I learned while working for the Florida Department of Transportation that our population in Miami increases by 5% each year. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine I-95 is just only going to get more populated as more people are learning to drive and joining, joining the folks on the road. There's so much innovation in moving people and making roadways and transit systems more efficient. So from that perspective, one of the things that I learned up until now where I'm working at the county is how important it is to build community around products. In the mayor's address, she touched on the point of how important it is that building that community is as important as the code, as the technology that powers everything. In effective and efficient service design, when you're looking at it from the perspective of communications and community are as important as the functional parts because they need to work together. The community needs to understand how a new service works or how an application works, or where to access, as George pointed, the open data portal, how to access that information. And that's where that communication comes in. So, building community, working with ShellHacks and groups like UP and with academic organizations is really important for two main reasons. Number one, it funnels new ideas to us. We can exchange and come together and share new ideas and work on projects collaboratively and partner on different projects. And more importantly, it gives students the ability to be able to to meet people in the county, see what we're doing, and work on some really exciting projects.
Absolutely. Well, we have a few questions. That brings to sight that we have a few questions in the chat portal. So what is it like working in the public sector for you? And what kind of departments are typically that come out of the IT department? Is there anything with cybersecurity?
So, if you can elaborate, can you repeat the first part of what the question was? What?
So what is it like working in the public sector from both of your guys' perspective? And if there are any specific departments that you guys have worked in that kind of have gradually elevated the work and the type of solutions George were just mentioning?
Yeah, so I mean, I have 25 years working with the county. So for me, public sector is I love it, and it's one of the reasons why I've been working with Miami-Dade County for so long. It's a great place to work. Typically when you ask employees, why do they join public service? You get different types of responses. Some of them may say, oh, it has to be because it's for job security. And there is job security in our positions. I mean, you'll see that many county employees do tend to stay for quite a bit of time. It's enjoyable to work here and it's a secure work. But, that's not only the main reason. And that's not, I can say personally for myself, born and raised here in Miami-Dade County, studied here in Miami-Dade County. For me, it's a desire to give back to the community. I think it's important that this community provided me with some opportunities to not only live and work and be educated. So for me, I like working for public sector because it gives me an opportunity to give back. And I think that's important because when you have opportunities in life, I think it's important to share those opportunities and then help others so that they have opportunities as well, too. So it's one of the reasons why I like working for public sector. Now, as far as different departments, I've only worked within Miami-Dade County for 2 departments. One I mentioned earlier was the Department of Environmental Resources Management, and I was there with them for about 4 years. But once I moved over to strictly technology, I moved into the IT department, so information technology, and I've been with the IT department for over 20 years, and I really love working for the IT department. IT for me is a passion. I wake up every morning really excited to go to work. And, I think that's also important. I mean, I have a good work and life balance. I enjoy what I do. It really doesn't feel like work at times because it's not that I don't have enough work. I have plenty of work, but for me, it's just because I enjoy working for public sector and I enjoy the IT sector. It's a great balance for me. And it gives me an opportunity not only to do what I love to do, but also there's a lot of potential growth. Obviously in my career, I've moved up to many different types of positions. So lots of opportunities with Miami-Dade County. We have lots of different sectors that we provide services to. So when you take a look at our departments, we have the Seaport, we have Water and Sewer Department, we have community housing departments, we have so many different departments that provide services to the county. So it's a lot of opportunities for us to be able to develop solutions, not only for a specific sector, but all different types of sectors. So I just find it a great place to work, and and when you look at the size of organization, we're the second largest employer in Miami-Dade County, first being Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So these are opportunities. Our local government is a great place to work because there's just so much opportunity to not only, again, that idea of security is great, but it's a great place to be able to move around and meet different people and to have different opportunities throughout your career.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. So you both mentioned the open data portal. I want to know, did either of you play a role in the creation of this? If so, what were your roles and kind of the responsibilities to implementing this in the county?
Yeah, so let me start with that. I've been here, I think, a little bit longer than Mr. Valens, but
A little bit.
yeah. So in my role, I wasn't directly involved in the creation of the portal. That actually the management of that portal actually works is managed by a different division within our technology department. We're a pretty large department. We're a department of over 900 individuals. So there's lots of things that are happening within our department, lots of different divisions, different support areas. So I had not worked in the area that actually developed that portal, which we actually host online. But most of the areas within our department do feed the data that goes into that portal. So, for example, that portal is comprised of, if you visit that portal, and I know that the link was posted in the chat, you'll notice that there's lots of different types of data that's available. And that data comes from lots and lots of different systems that we support. So many of the support areas within ITD are responsible for not only managing that raw data, but being able to transform that data so that eventually we can publish it into the portal so that it can be consumed by citizens, by businesses, by anybody that has interest in that type of data. So we all have some hand involved in that, in making our government more transparent.
Yeah, and to build off of what George said regarding the open data portal, that was definitely a even before I worked at the county, I knew from following Mayor Caba as a commissioner, that was a big part of her agenda is to push open data, and really, like, open data to me, the most important thing about it is it goes right back to building community. We're being transparent in two ways. We're being transparent in how we function and how we operate by putting out this data, by committing our services, by working with the communities and with other municipalities to do that. I would always joke that everything that you see that a municipality or a county government touches is a form of transparency, right? Like if the traffic signals are working correctly, that they're working correctly. It's sort of that ground level of transparency. But what I love about the open data portal is it empowers the community to be a part of that. You can use that data to build things, to monitor things. Off the top of my head, I know that there's a lot of potential from the academic institution side on the open data portal, because now we've basically lowered the barrier to request information from us. Before a portal like that existed, or before the sort of open data push from the public sector perspective, schools would want to work on projects and take this information in, and they would have to request it and speak to multiple people, and then they would have to package it together and transmit it in some way. I think back in the day, we did a big data dump around some roadway data, and I had to load 3 terabytes of roadway data onto external hard drives and hand them off. And it's great that we could point someone who wants to build a project. For example, if there's a ShellHacks team that wanted to build something with our data, here's the open data portal. Take a look. Whatever you don't see there, let us know and we'll figure out. It's a good starting point that does one of the main functions of especially local government, lowering the barrier between the public and the systems that they fund to run everything.
Yeah, and I see there's a question in the chat about open APIs, and of course when we think about APIs, and we're talking about interfaces, right? So there's different ways to interface with Miami-Dade County and get data, and I think the open data portal was just one of the ways that really started to allow us to mature in that direction, like George had mentioned, being able to get that data, because I've been working for Miami-Dade County for many years, and I can tell you that we experienced that kind of activity where prior to the open data portal, when we would get requests to get data out, it literally was, getting data in either a paper report or being able to put it on a CD, or it was very clumsy and it wasn't very easy to get that data out. So we've matured, we're moving towards that open data portal model, and now we're starting to develop open APIs, and we are working with other counties and municipalities. Here in Miami-Dade County, we have over 30 municipalities that we work with. We do a lot of work with the city of Miami. City of Hialeah. There's a lot of cities that we do work with, and we share information with them. And we are developing better ways to make that sharing of data even easier than just having, a portal where you have to manually go in and maybe download, a spreadsheet of data. We're trying to make it even more transparent by having these open APIs and having that layer as well too. So, and we'll continue to mature in that, because that definitely is something that we feel that is very important to, like we were saying earlier, is to be as transparent as possible and make that data available to everybody. No barriers.
Absolutely. When you guys are talking about data, I want to know, do you guys have any tricks or tips for young tech leaders and how to navigate the thought of the quotations of open data? Because data can be overwhelming at times. What are some tricks of the trade that you guys have learned while working in the public sector?
Yeah, so I think we have to understand, and sometimes we use these words as synonyms, but they mean different things. So data, when we talk about data is raw. Mm-hmm. Data itself could be very overwhelming. because when you open up, a data source, it really doesn't mean anything. It's usually in, represented potentially, in different formats like, comma delimited or maybe in a JSON format or XML. And by itself, that format really doesn't help you do anything. It's all raw. So the trick is, how do you get that raw data and analyze it efficiently and effectively so you can turn data into information so it starts to have meaning? Because I think the ultimate objective is that when you have this large amounts of data, you're not only trying to get it to become information, but you're trying to be able to become knowledge, right? So that businesses can take action across that data. So data itself, it really isn't that useful in the sense that unless it's organized and it's been analyzed, there's not much you can do with it. So I think the trick there is to really figure out, find all the sources of data that you have, and then start to build upon that layers of technology where you can really find connections within that data, and start to be able to find or develop information from that data that then could be converted further into knowledge where you're taking action on that. And examples like that. So
yeah, and for me, early on in my career, I realized that there was just no way that I would be able to escape having to do data analysis, right? Like that was the sort of the trajectory that I was going. And up until that point, like my background was very heavily on news and media tech, right? And it was also heavy on policy development. So I, really took it upon myself to always stay on the forefront of what was going on in terms of data analysis. If there was an app or a particular resource or a tool that I could learn, like I would. And I think in this instance, I definitely have to shout out local tech groups, local civic tech groups like Code for South Florida. That's definitely a great place to go and learn and network with people that can give you some tools and tips and tricks, and you can build that skill flow that you could work with that type of data. And I think another one is programs like Miami-Dade College and Broward College. They have a lot of GIS classes. That's actually where I learned GIS, was at Broward College. And the classes are very reasonably priced because it's a public institution, and being in that classroom setting, you learn how to use these tools. You learn, they'll give you data sets that you can work with, and you can really start taking advantage of that. Because for me, my favorite area of data analysis was always mapping. Like for me, mapping is criminally underrated because it's a lot of geodata. There's a lot of geodata that is being generated by services that we normally wouldn't expect to be generating geodata. Like when I worked at the Sun Sentinel, one of my first projects as an intern on the news desk was back when like the food truck craze had started. So I took the geodata from the food truck Twitter accounts when they would post that they're open for business, and then I would use them to and I made a tool where folks could see like where their favorite food truck was at a given time, and then you just post it up there. And it's incredible how many of our services and our devices are giving off that type of data, and more importantly,
I think George froze.
Perspective. Oh, I'm here.
You're there. You're there.
You laughed for a moment.
Right. So yeah, just how much transportation data depends on geolocation, especially as cars are getting smarter and the technology in the cars are getting smarter. We're being able to take advantage of that data. So definitely staying on the forefront, talking to people, finding groups in the community, finding sources of education in your community that you can then learn and then bring it back to what you're working on.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. So, we talked a little bit about navigation, and those tricks and tips are very important. I want to know what made you guys get into the public sector. What is the appeal there for you, and how explain to some students that might be on the fence whether to go private, public nonprofit in the tech world. Explain to me how you guys got into the public sector and kind of the benefits of that.
All right. So, for me, again, when I take a look at, Miami-Dade County as a whole, obviously we have, it's private sector, public sector, and there's a lot of private companies that folks can go out and work for here if you want to stay in Miami-Dade County. Of course, there's like major hospitals like Baptist, we have FP&L, the cruise lines, there's lots of different banks. So, I mean, there's lots of different organizations here, but none of those organizations really compare in the size of public sector. I think I mentioned earlier, for instance, we are the second largest, beaten by Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and they actually only beat us by just a few thousand employees. We're over 28,000 employees. We service more than 25 departments. We service 2.8 million citizens in this county. So when you think about organizations that have a lot of opportunity, Miami-Dade County for me is really where it's like, I think even though we're number 2 in size, I think about it as number 1 because, unlike the schools, and obviously they have a major importance of what they're doing, but they have one customer. It's a school system, right? And we have 25, 26 major customers, and we have other municipalities that we help as well too. So we have a lot of opportunity to do different things in different in different sectors. I mentioned earlier, like we have departments like the Seaport and the Water and Sewer Department, right? Public safety. So we do a little bit of everything. So for me, it's really interesting, coming to work and to be able to develop and become as innovative as possible to develop solutions in all these different types of areas. So we're not just building one type of system. We build all different types of systems. Some systems are focused to support our internal customers. Some of the systems that we support, support the direct, citizen, right? So there's just so much opportunity here working for public sector, again, and that for me is the exciting part of it. And if you're passionate about IT, I think, the two really work well together. And then on top of that, obviously working for the county, we have a lot of job opportunities. There's, jobs in cybersecurity, if you like, technical work and maybe working for desktop support. Of course, you can, program, developing in different languages. We do, .NET developing. We do Java developing. I mean, there's all different types of development that we do, all these activities. We're also in the business intelligence space. So there's just so much opportunity here. I think that, when someone starts to work for Miami-Dade County, there's, again, a lot of opportunity to move. Not only, we always think of upward movement, but there's a lot of lateral movement as well, too. So you have an opportunity to work, for as long as you want in one area, and then you can move laterally to another area and then gain additional skills. And then, once you've become an expert in that area, you have an opportunity to move somewhere else and gain additional skills. So for me, those are very exciting ways to, really develop your professional career in one place. And at the same time, of course, with the job security, the benefits, all those things that many of us, strive to have in our job environment. We want job security. We want to get paid well. We want security, but at the same time, we also want to do different things when we come to work. And Miami-Dade County really offers us all that in one package. So that for me is why I think Miami-Dade County is a great place to work. And it's and I like the warm weather. So
Same. I think for me, what draws me to the public sector is the undercurrent of transparency and accountability that there is when you're working on things that you're working on. So, to kind of bring it back to my journalist background, right? Like, media today is kind of in a weird place, but for me, being a reporter was always telling the truth, right? And finding the truth wherever it was. And I carried that with me throughout my career. And what I love about working for Miami-Dade County and working for the public sector agencies that I've worked with is that we're always going to find a way to let the public in on how we're working and share with them and share this process with them because it makes our process better. I love that everything that we do is documented in some way. That I love that all of our data is available on an open data portal because it just does what is core to our mission of making sure that we are always accountable to the public, making sure that we're always expending resources responsibly because, we're not we're not a company that sells a product. We're not a company that puts out a service. We tax our residents, and we have a responsibility to use those tax dollars correctly and to be transparent with how we use them. So that's to me the biggest draw of working in the public sector is that everything that we do has an undercurrent of transparency and an undercurrent of accountability.
Yeah, that's a great, very perspective. Speaking of that, there's some new innovative things going around budgeting and financing in the sector. Somebody posed the question. They wanted to know, did you guys know about the Miami coin? And how do you see this working out with cryptocurrency and all the trendiness around it? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
So we're starting to take a look at that. There's actually a task force that's been created within Miami-Dade County for cryptocurrency, and we're taking a very close look to see how Miami-Dade County itself can, interact and further be able to explore different opportunities to be able to, work with citizens and provide services to citizens and leverage different e-commerce type of technologies that are out there. So we're definitely taking a serious look at crypto and seeing how that interacts with the way we can do county business. I know other cities within Miami-Dade are doing the same, but we're definitely taking a serious look at that at this time.
Absolutely. We actually have another follow-up question kind of from Nicholas. He wants to know how, let me read this properly, how the Miami tech movement has impacted your perspective on the role of technology in Miami and as well as the department's vision.
So we're here to, as we mentioned earlier, we have, there's the county itself has a vision, and the vision is to really, or the mission is to really, we're here for the citizen. That's what we're here for. So going back to what I was mentioning earlier about technology, we have to keep in mind that technology really is an important tool that needs to be leveraged in overall business, whether it's public sector, private sector, but more importantly for public sector, as George Valens was mentioning earlier, we have a very important role to ensure that as we collect, tax dollars and other types of revenue sources from our residents and citizens, that we use it in a responsible manner. So technology is super important to ensure that we can make government more efficient, right? We have to find ways to continually to deliver our services in the most cost-effective manner possible. And we can only do that through technology, right? And we from the IT department's perspective, we have day-to-day type of activities that we maintain, lots of different systems and applications and services that we maintain on a day-to-day business operation. But we can't do that. That can't be 100% of our focus. Part of what we do every day we have to be innovative. So we have to, part of it when we come in every day, part of our focus is not only keeping the lights on, but how to remain abreast with current trends and solutions that are available so we can come up with innovative ways to continue pushing the envelope so that we can continue delivering services at a lower cost and continue to drive down that cost and making those services more available, not only to people that have technology ability, but to make it as equitable as possible to all citizens throughout Miami-Dade County, because there are citizens in this county that may not have access to technology, within their homes or may not have high-speed internet access. So, even within our county facilities, we have to be able to provide citizens that come in to see us personally, so they don't have to wait hours long in lines. Maybe we have technology in those buildings, maybe kiosks and other different ways to interact with our citizens so that we get those services out to them easier, quicker, faster, and cheaper. It's really an important role for us to make sure that we're stewards of those county dollars and make sure that we deliver those services very responsible and, as we mentioned earlier, transparent, right? So it's very important.
Yeah, and speaking to Nicholas's awesome question, I think taking it back, the Miami tech movement is really, an inspiring and exciting thing. Miami's been in the spotlight since the pandemic really started of folks coming to Miami, bringing their talent, bringing their, in many cases, their new companies and to start something here. And I think that first and foremost, what makes me the most excited is that our mayor, Mayor Caba is very excited and very passionate about the role technology plays in disrupting the standard flow of government, the standard workflows of government. Whether it's Miami Coin, blockchain, Internet of Things, we're seeing a lot of, especially in transportation, Internet of Things was one of the first applications of IoT was in transportation, because there's so much potential there. And really it's the mayor's vision of organizing all these technologies into one plan that makes us a connected county, that brings us closer to the municipalities that are in the county by sharing data, by sharing technology, helping them implement new technology, them helping us implement new technology, and really forging meaningful partnerships with not just public sector entities, but civic groups, and even those private companies and folks that are bringing their talent to our region, to create a forward Miami-Dade County, a forward-thinking Miami-Dade County together. So it's exciting. Great question.
Yeah, that's thank you guys both for your response on that, and good question, Nicholas. So with that being said, what is one of your favorite projects you've ever worked on, and kind of how did you experience this? How did this make you feel more connected to the community? Did you gain any networking experiences from it? Do you have a favorite project?
So I've worked on so many projects in Miami-Dade County, and that's been the exciting part of my work, is that every day there's new opportunities. Just recently, some of the projects that I really enjoy working on, and just in general, like it's awesome to work with cloud services and cloud systems. So for us, having access to the cloud and working with other vendors like Microsoft and their Azure Cloud, and Amazon and AWS and Oracle with OCI, it gives us the ability for us to expand services without making major investments in our infrastructure. Because for us, if we wanted to be able to provide a service that we don't have today, first of all, it takes us a lot of planning. We have to be able to get all of the capital funding that's required to build that out, right? And then all that time that it takes to build it out, and then develop the talent and to support it and maintain it. It may take us a very long time to get that to market, for our customers and for the citizens. But what cloud does is that it allows us to be able to, use that as and enhance our catalog of services, so that if there's a service that's available in technology that we don't necessarily have internally available, or that we created internally, it's just an add-on that we now can leverage and be able to further build solutions for our customers, and thereby reducing the amount of time that it takes us to get to that, gets us to take, to market. And not only that, it's low. It has a very low investment, very low cost to entry. So it doesn't cost very much for us to be able to do research and development, and to be able to, when we come up with an innovative idea, we can get to that. We can test out that idea much quicker, because we don't have to really necessarily build anything. So the cloud, for me, is really a great opportunity. And a lot of the projects that that I'm working on currently, we always leverage cloud to say, is there a service in the cloud that's available, that's been built, that we can integrate into our solution, so we can get faster to market and do it so in a much lower cost.
Absolutely. George, do you have any take on that?
For me, it was, I've only been with the county now for about a little over a month. So I think my favorite project example was a couple of years ago, we were having some issues with maintenance along the roadway. So we wanted to make sure that everything looked right, and that the poles, the little plastic poles, were up and all that. So I figured out how to clamp a GoPro onto a truck, and then we took the video and ran it through like an ML software thing that could learn where all the things were, and then we could print a report out. So that was I think the coolest thing I had done up until that point. It was very MacGyver-y, very fast paced, and then we had to find some software, some off the shelf software that could analyze it. So it was cool. It's a cool opportunity.
Awesome.
Well, we're getting close to time, but I want to pose the last question here, and it's a very important one. We know that the pandemic put us in a place where, you know, we became very grateful and had many new experiences. So there's a lot of emerging technology, but there's also a lot of change in our community. I want to know from you guys' point of view and your understanding of diversity, inclusion, and kind of some of our mayor's current priorities. Are there any emerging technologies that might have caught your eye that might help with this?
Oh, absolutely. You know, one thing that we're paying very close attention to is you know, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and IoT. And when you put all those things together, you know, we can do lots of different things. And I mentioned earlier about the county having lots of data. So, for example, whether it be, you know, in the area of customer service management, where, you know, we have a 311 call center and people call in to, you know, report issues, you know, that they have, or they need access to services. You know, it helps us to be able to better understand the needs of our citizens and to be able to, you know, again, go back to that, being able to take action. But more importantly, you know, for us, as we collect all of this data, when you think about, let me give you an example. Like one thing that's actually pretty exciting that we're working on today is that we're using IoT devices, and we're attaching those devices to not only our buildings to make them smarter, but even our equipment. So, for instance, where you find IoT devices on buses or different types of equipment that the county owns and manages, so that we can take, you know, preemptive measures, and we can, you know, predict and detect when those devices need to, you know, when they need servicing, so that we don't have buses that are stranded out on the roadway because we haven't done enough maintenance on it. Or thinking about, for instance, you know, when we think about machine learning, you know, in the cybersecurity areas that we do here in our department. So, for example, leveraging the ability to predict, detect, and then what's awesome, and this is what we're actually getting into now, and I know a lot of organizations are doing the same way, automatically respond to those cyber threats. So, you know, when you think about cybersecurity, many organizations have, you know, software and technologies nowadays that can detect it, but it still requires somebody to take action. So these emerging technologies around AI and machine learning and you know, and sensors that we deploy allow us to now, you know, respond automatically to different threats, or take, you know, action to prevent something, you know, from happening that may impact the citizen service. I think those are the things that, you know, at least I'm most excited about, and that the county is really focusing on now next. That's kind of like our next thing that we're really looking at and spending a lot of time on.
Yeah, and from my perspective, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the you know, diversity and equity and inclusion side of the IT department and the county as a whole. For me, this is, you know, working in Miami-Dade County is really the first big place I've ever worked at. You know, my previous opportunities have been, you know, smaller teams or smaller groups, and working at the county has really like opened me up to this idea of how do we leverage technology to make sure that we're hiring a diverse workforce that can rise to meet the challenges that we have in our region. You know, and I think working on a lot of the mayor's initiatives, like a dashboard that lets us analyze the workforce and make decisions and hire, you know, see where we need to improve and you know, plan our workforce out to be a diverse and inclusive workforce is really important. And I think from the other standpoint too, the mayor's peace and prosperity plan has a lot of potential in terms of how the IT department can serve the other departments implementing this plan to help them measure success and to help them organize their data and monitor, you know, the performance of something as it goes along. Because going back to that discussion that George M. and I and Krishana were having about that undercurrent of transparency and that undercurrent of accountability, all of this data that we generate, whether it's, you know, data that lets us see how diverse our workforce is, lets us see how effective our programs are, the fact that we can measure these as we go along has untold impacts on how we operate. It lets us make decisions. It lets us course correct if the outcomes that we're seeing are not what we want. And it lets us, you know, make decisions about our workforce, both right now, you know, in the present, but also in the future. So, you know, I always joke that at the end of the day, everything is going to be a data science issue, right? That is going to touch every aspect of our operations as a department, but also part of the mayor's initiatives. This is, as I mentioned before, a very forward-thinking mayor. She wants to involve tech and move things forward wherever she can. And it's just so exciting to see that every aspect coming out of the mayor's office, every department has a potential to benefit from leveraging the data that they generate to measure how well they're doing.
Yeah, so let me answer that, because if I'm sure some folks are probably thinking, what kind of skills do I need to work for Miami-Dade County, right? So, of course, we'll have job openings, for cybersecurity analysts, network administrators. We might need some folks to work on the cloud architect team, software developers, of course. But I've been a manager for many, many years. Now at different levels of management, and I've hired many folks. And while of course we look for people that have that type of skill set, it's not the only skill that we look at, or at least that I look at. I really try to look for folks that have the ability to be creative and innovative, right? And to be able to get that, especially that creativity and innovation, you have to really look at a diverse team. And fortunately, over the years, I've been seeing more women, more people of color applying to these positions, and not only that, but accepting these job opportunities. And this has allowed us to have a diversity by enriching our teams and having a representation of different people, different genders, races, nationalities. And, it's well documented that these diverse teams can leverage a greater variety of perspective. It's not just a group of people that think the same way. You get a lot of different perspectives and a lot of people to be able to give ideas and to be able to be creative in that manner. So, for me, I'm always very interested in seeing that, and looking for people that, have those, different ideas and that they have different backgrounds and they have different experiences, because the teams that I try to build are those teams that I really look towards to be able to solve not only today's problems, but think about problems of tomorrow. So for me, that diversity is extremely important, especially in our sector of work. So I just wanted to leave those folks with that, thinking that, you're thinking that you might have to build a technical skill. And of course, we're in technology, so having those technical abilities is important. But it goes way above beyond that, at least for Miami-Dade County, when I'm building team members, I'm looking for that diversity in that team, not just that one type of individual that, that you may think, oh, that's not me. But, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people that can come and add value and bring that experience and diversity so that we can come up with innovative solutions. So I just wanted to leave folks with that idea.
Absolutely. You both finished it off right. And I love that it reminded me to always, as we move and shape during being in the tech and government tech sector, we got to be moldable. And I think that's really important. And it adds that transparency layer to us. So we're going to go ahead and finish up the questions. We completed the last one just now. George V, would you like to give us some closing remarks, please?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm like I said, this is a really exciting opportunity. I was a little nervous, I have to admit, a little nervous coming in. But exciting opportunity to connect with folks, to support FIU, who is such an important pillar in our community. Does so much for students. I'm a second generation FIU graduate. My mom was the first person in my family to graduate from college, and she did so at FIU. It's always important for me to give back, and yeah, it's great to connect with you all. I'm going to drop my social media info below in case you all want to connect or have any questions. Definitely would encourage you all to keep an eye on Miami-Dade County jobs page, and see if there's a great opportunity that meets your skill set, so that you can join the county. It is an exciting workplace. Like I said, I've only been here for a little over a month, and it just echoing George M's sentiments. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a job because you love what you do and you love the people you work with. And it's just great that whenever there's a problem, whenever there's a challenge, there's a department and a work group ready to go that will take that on and see what we can do. So definitely exciting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for your shared perspective. I love that you guys are both FIU alums. And guys, feel free to reach out. George, any last words?
For me, again, listen, I mean, if anybody's thinking out there, though, he's the only one that's been working there for 25 years. I can tell you that I'm probably one of the younger ones. I mean, we have employees that it's very common to have 20-something-year employees, 30-year employees. We had somebody that actually hit their 40-year mark a couple weeks back. So, you know, I can tell you it's not only me. We have many employees that really love working for Miami-Dade County. It's a great place to work. We have a lot of opportunities. It's a great environment. We enjoy the people we work with. It's a family. And you know, again, I thank you for allowing me to be here today. I love to talk about Miami-Dade County and my experiences with the county. It's something that I really feel passionate about and love to discuss. So thank you all for allowing me the time to be here with you.
And thanks for the great TV recommendations. We appreciate it.
Yes.
We're excited.
I am really excited for Formula One.
Right. Sounds good.
All
Awesome.
right,
Well, thank you all.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, George M.
Thank you.
Thank you.